What is the primary purpose of Mexico's federal law on the protection of personal data held by private parties? A. To regulate international data transfers. B. To protect the privacy of individuals from government surveillance. C. To establish guidelines for the processing of personal data by private parties. D. To create a national database of personal information. Correct answer C. To establish guidelines for the processing of personal data by private parties. Which entity is primarily responsible for enforcing data protection laws in Mexico? A. The Ministry of Interior. B. The National Institute of Transparency, Access to Information and Protection of Personal Data, INAI. C. The Federal Telecommunications Institute. D. The Ministry of Economy. Correct answer B. The National Institute of Transparency, Access to Information and Protection of Personal Data, INAI. Under Mexico's privacy law, what is considered sensitive personal data? A. Any information regarding a person's address and phone number. B. Data about a person's shopping habits. C. Information related to racial or ethnic origin, health status and sexual preferences. D. Publicly available information on social media profiles. Correct answer C. Information related to racial or ethnic origin, health status and sexual preferences. What are the ARCO rights under Mexico's privacy laws? A. Access, rectification, cancellation and opposition. B. Acquisition, reporting, correction and omission. C. Analysis, response, confirmation and observation. D. Authentication, review, closure and objection. Correct answer A. Access, rectification, cancellation and opposition. What must data controllers do before processing personal data according to Mexico's privacy law? A. Obtain verbal consent from the data subject. B. Provide a privacy notice to the data subject. C. Register the data processing activity with the INAI. D. Obtain a license from the Ministry of Economy. Correct answer B. Provide a privacy notice to the data subject. In the event of a data breach, what is a data controller obligated to do under Mexico's privacy law? A. Notify the data subject within 30 days. B. Notify the INAI and affected data subjects promptly. C. Pay a fine to the INAI immediately. D. Publish a public apology in national newspapers. Correct answer B. Notify the INAI and affected data subjects promptly. Which of the following is not a principle of data processing under Mexico's privacy law? A. Legality. B. Proportionality. C. Publicity. D. Accountability. Correct answer C. Publicity. What kind of personal data does Mexico's federal law on the protection of personal data held by private parties apply to? A. Data processed by government entities only. B. Data processed by private individuals for personal use without disclosure. C. Data processed by private parties for commercial purposes. D. Data processed outside of Mexico only. Correct answer C. Data processed by private parties for commercial purposes. What are the conditions under which personal data may be transferred to third parties according to Mexico's privacy laws? A. Only with prior notification to the INAI. B. Without any conditions as long as it is for commercial purposes. C. With the explicit consent of the data subject or under specific exemptions. D. Only between companies within the same corporate group. Correct answer C. With the explicit consent of the data subject or under specific exemptions. What is the consequence of failing to comply with Mexico's data protection laws? A. Mandatory data protection training. B. Immediate closure of the business. C. Sanctions or fines imposed by INAI. D. A formal warning with no further action. Correct answer C. Sanctions or fines imposed by INAI. Who is responsible for issuing privacy notices under Mexico's privacy law? A. The data subject. B. The National Human Rights Commission. C. The data controller. D. The INAI. Correct answer C. The data controller. What information must be included in a privacy notice according to Mexico's privacy law? A. The data subject's social security number. B. The specific purposes of data processing. C. The data controller's annual revenue. D. The names of all employees accessing the data. Correct answer B. The specific purposes of data processing. What does the term data controller refer to under Mexico's privacy laws? A. An individual who provides their personal data. B. A legal entity or individual who decides on the processing of personal data. C. The INAI official responsible for data protection compliance. D. Any employee who has access to personal data. Correct answer, B. A legal entity or individual who decides on the processing of personal data. Under what circumstances can personal data be processed without the consent of the data subject under Mexico's privacy laws? A. When it involves sensitive personal data. B. When the data is necessary for the fulfillment of a legal obligation. C. For marketing purposes. D. At the discretion of the data controller. Correct answer, B. When the data is necessary for the fulfillment of a legal obligation. What measures must data controllers implement according to Mexico's privacy laws? A. Security measures adequate to protect personal data against unauthorized access. B. Only digital security measures such as encryption. C. Security measures approved by the data subject. D. Any measure as long as it is cost-effective. Correct answer, A. Security measures adequate to protect personal data against unauthorized access. In case of a security breach, whom must the data controller notify first according to Mexico's privacy laws? A. The affected data subjects. B. The INA. C. The local police department. D. The media. Correct answer, B. The INA. What defines a security breach under Mexico's privacy laws? A. Any unsuccessful attempt to access personal data. B. Only breaches that result in financial loss. C. Unauthorized processing, disclosure, or access that significantly affects the data subject's rights. D. Any complaint filed by a data subject. Correct answer, C. Unauthorized processing, disclosure, or access that significantly affects the data subject's rights. What is the maximum penalty for severe breaches of Mexico's data protection laws? A. A formal reprimand. B. Community service. C. Imprisonment. D. A public apology. Correct answer, C. Imprisonment. How does Mexico's privacy law affect international data transfers? A. It prohibits all international data transfers. B. It allows them without restrictions. C. It imposes specific conditions and requirements, including consent in some cases. D. It requires the data to be encrypted before transfer. Correct answer, C. It imposes specific conditions and requirements, including consent in some cases. What role does the Ministry of Economy play in the context of Mexico's privacy law? A. It is responsible for data protection enforcement. B. It provides guidelines for the processing of economic data. C. It assists INAI with technical expertise on economic matters. D. It directly regulates the processing of personal data in commercial activities. Correct answer, C. It assists INAI with technical expertise on economic matters.